everybody, and welcome back to the funniest tweets. Today we are talking about the Japanese Grand Prix. Oh yes, a race that, although we had precisely 0 wheel-to-wheel action for the win, we did have an actually quite exciting race. I thoroughly enjoyed it. The midfield popped off. We had some great battling, varying strategies, but most importantly, we had some amazing memes from you. So let's dive into them. Not again, Williams. Now, I first and foremost have to apologise for how I sound. I have been rather unwell these last few days, and some words aren't coming out properly because my entire nasal passage is in big trouble. But let's dive into Williams, shall we? And start with F1_LN4 Life. Public enemy number 1, Williams chassis. Now, of course, this happened on lap 1. Daniel Ricciardo and Alex Albon. Alex being very aggressive with the soft tyres, wanting to make up some places. Completely understand it. Daniel Ricciardo having one of the worst starts we've seen on the medium tyre. I think he started 11th, didn't he? Just missed out on Q3. And fell like a stone, fighting for around P15, P16 into turns 1 and 2. Alex popping a little nose round the outside, seeing what's what. Daniel doesn't see him, turns right slightly to open up the corner for the next left-hander, and into the wall. The Williams into the wall again. At G-Souls Racing. Why do Williams keep crashing? That meme. Now, of course, it hasn't happened that much. I can't imagine that man is that stacked off the amount of Williams crashes. However, we've got some problems. At Williams, they are, despite having James Vowles, the absolute legend, the wordsmith, the Shakespeare that is James Vowles, It's not hunky-dory in Williams at the moment. Of course, the whole spare chassis problem is a big problem. And I don't know exactly right now the extent of the damage of Alex Albon's chassis now. But Logan Sargent just about managed to survive the race without damaging his repaired chassis, which I guess is a small slither of positivity, but not a lot. At Jesus MVR01, Williams at the Chinese Grand Prix. Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? Because there are a lot of memes that you have made, so clearly it's going to be a segment in this series. However, I do feel very sorry for Williams, who have got some sort of pace. Like Logan, at one point, I think was running in 11th. And he was very excited, I believe, probably. I don't know, haven't spoken to him. But he was running quite well. Williams looking like they had some decent pace, sort of 15 laps into that hard tyre stint. I know he was a little bit out of sync with other drivers that pit from the mediums or the softs, but still looking reasonable. And then he remembered that I predicted him biggest flop for this weekend and then ended up in the gravel. Thank you, Logan, for the point. At Joko6P, this gif gets me every time, so I have to include it. Drive to Survive producers after seeing Ricciardo and Albon crashing. Jackpots. Now, of course, Daniel Ricciardo on the flip side of this, I would apportion more blame to him because he literally caused the accident by not seeing Albon. There is an element, of course, of racing there as well. Racing incident, because it is lap 1. Should Daniel Ricciardo really be checking his right mirror going into that left-hander? Actually, maybe, because he is drifting over and it is lap 1. But then I think Max said in the cool-down room about a blind spot. And Formula 1 drivers, they are more aware, probably, definitely, of what happens on lap 1 than us average punters. But then also Max is good friends with Daniel. So there are plenty of things to take into consideration here. What would you say? Would you say it was Daniel Ricciardo's fault, deserves a penalty? Would you say it's Daniel Ricciardo's fault, but it's a racing incident? Would you say it's a level playing field 50-50 incident? Or is it Alex Albon's fault? Let me know in the comments. Now, before we do any more, I would like to just please ask you to subscribe to this P1 YouTube channel. Yes, we are trying to hit 500,000, which is such a beautiful number. Ridiculous to hit it. But we'd love to do it. So if you are enjoying this P1 content, if you want more of this Funniest Tweets podcast and everything else, driver interviews coming this year, then please do subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you as part of the P1 family. Oh, this one's so good. At Annie Ridder 153 Williams at the Chinese Grand Prix. Oh my goodness, what a video that is. I don't even need to say anymore. That is brilliant. That's probably runner-up for Tommy's tasty tweet, I reckon. But there's a better one coming, apparently. At crispy_crouton. How about Marco? Daniel needs to improve. Ricardo. He had such a good qualifying as well, didn't he, Daniel? But then had just such a bad start. And then you're just going, oh no, you're fighting the ones that were literally knocked out in Q1 into turn 1. He just had no grip. Bad start. And really needs to pick it up. It's sad to see. Maybe China is the one. Because there will actually be drivers on the grid that have never done China. It's been gone for so long, so that'll be interesting. And the final Williams meme, I've got rid of my headset. Completely forgot I never wear my headset until I obviously listen to Tommy. So don't know why I was doing that. Taking it off now. At Shift Happens F1. POV Williams garage right now. Alex Albon on his way to take Logan's car. Can you imagine? Obviously, back in Formula 1 history, we did actually have that. That was a thing where you could just chuck your teammate out and get in the car or have a spare car. Thankfully, for Logan's sake, that is not possible now. So Logan managed to secure a great result. I lied. There's one more meme I've just found. At Tagman Backbar. Logan Sargent and Williams after the red flag. I'm going to move on now. Williams, it's time to build more chassis so that it's not such a talking point. Please, just get them done. All right, let's move on from this meme now. I know. I found another one. I'm so sorry. Williams, I thought we were moving on, but there is one more. At Crystal Horner. Alex Albon looking at Logan Sargent's car in the pit lane. It's for me. Oh, God. That does make me laugh, so I had to include it. So, yes, Williams, we are now moving on, I promise. Sorry. Stroll not happy. Okay, we're now on to Lance Stroll, who had one of the strangest team radios since Saudi, I guess, where he's actually had 2 of the top team radios this year. This one, of course, being very sassy, high-pitched, very strange team radio. But we've got lots of memes for it. At Moreira Verera. Stroll, why does he sound like some angsty 15-year-old? It was very much a case of my father will hear about this. It was, I am not happy, and it felt like it was out of some sort of drama Netflix show. And I'm not talking about Drive to Survive. One of those, just, you got champagne. I don't know. You know the scene. It was very odd. There's another meme. At Agent 7x200, Stroll screaming on the radio. It was quite literally screaming. Now, I'm sure Aston Martin and Lawrence Stroll will, push for a press release to say that, we've just found an issue and Lance was actually running 300 less brake horsepower than Fernando Alonso. But until I see that, which I will obviously count as fact, then Lance had a bit of a stinker, didn't he? At Josephine May. Now, this is what it actually made me think of. Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Lance to Lawrence after the race. It was, honestly, that girl, I forget her name, or is it Penelope? I can't remember, but either or, that scene, that was Lance in a nutshell. Just, I can just imagine, you know how we had that jackpot gif earlier of the F1 TV team radio people that select each one? You know how they love to play Lewis Hamilton? They've seen that one and gone, jackpot. At Formula Latest, same but different. Of course, the beautiful, legendary GP2 engine call from Fernando Alonso, way back when in the McLaren Honda era. And then Lance Stroll, with a slightly more, I'd say, slightly more polished. Still angry, very angry, but didn't go as far as saying GP2 engine, just hinted like it's a different category, which I don't know what's going on. What Aston Martin literally brought upgrades. Why is Lance Stroll struggling so much? Don't say, oh, it's Fernando Alonso. But it probably is. At that Logan James, Fernando listening to Lance's radio about GP2 engines. Oh dear. I mean, Fernando, we've had so many hilarious moments over the course of those two being teammates where he just gasses up Lance for absolutely no reason. You know, of course there's mutual respect between all teammates, but Fernando just sometimes yeah. I mean, Lance, great drive to P9 there, saw it on the TV, one of the greatest drives I've ever seen in Formula 1. Completely unnecessary, but I absolutely love it. How much he's being paid, probably worth it as well. Honourable mentions. At the Emil Curian, after the last race, I'm glad to see another driver win this week. Sainz dominate, can you imagine? We all hoped and dreamed, didn't we? Even after free practice this weekend, Max saying, oh, I'm a bit concerned about the degradation. Ferrari looking quite good in race trim. That didn't come to fruition, did it? I did not think Max Verstappen had it in him to be a Lewis Hamilton from the previous Mercedes domination era, where he says, oh, you know, we're on the back foot. We are on the back foot. And then they obviously end up winning by 3 laps. Max, don't start doing that. I take your word as gospel, sir. I need you to be honest with me when you say you're struggling, because the hopium, the copium, whatever you want to call it, the delulu is through the roof anytime he might say that. So I'm watching you, Max. At Coldis_97, leaked Alpine factory video. Alpine, I thought they'd taken a step forward. Just a small one, just a little teensy half step. They had Ocon go through to Q2 and he celebrated it more than when he won in Hungary. Then the race, Gasly in particular, looked like the slowest driver. I mean, Lance Stroll can complain about his car. I don't even want to know. Well, actually, I do. I want to know exactly what Gasly said to his team after the race, because they were awful. How have they fallen this far? I need a full episode. You know how we had 2 episodes about Alpine in Drive to Survive last year? I will happily accept 2, 3, maybe even 4 this year, because the drama within that team must be at an all-time high. Turn to page 394, Oscar said, Cole, I do. Oscar Piastri is what a sweet, sweet man he is. As this meme suggests, any other driver losing their mind. Lance Stroll literally just losing his mind over the car going slowly. Oscar gets dive bombed by George Russell. A small amount of contact, gets pushed across the last chicane. And he is talking to us like he's on a Sunday drive, top down, sun's out, nice little jazz, relaxing music being played. And that is how Oscar conducts himself. I love it. He's such a unique character, such an amazing lad. And even in the most extreme circumstances, you're in a Formula One car and he's still so chill. At Lexicon 2801, Piastri's team radios in the most heated of moments. Oh, that is the most beautiful way of basically explaining what I was saying in the last one. At Chris Gaming NL, how it feels like watching the Magnussen onboard camera. The cameras were great. I actually really like them. At first, I was a bit concerned. Maybe a little bit motion sickness going on here. Does it feel a bit weird to the eyes, or is it just a bit of a change? After seeing it in the race, loved it. I think it gives a sense of speed like no other. It's great, and I want more of it, please. And so much better than the helmet on boards when we're fighting in a battle. Just leave it to those. Helmet on boards can be for practice, maybe a little bit of qualifying. No side-by-side action, thank you. At Aeonrium, race film crew, 5 cars in the pit lane. Why not show it live? No words. Apart from, I completely agree. How on earth have we missed probably the greatest pit stop battle that is non-safety car in recent times? I know it was for 11th, but it was actually crucial for Yuki Tsunoda scoring a point. So it did have connotations, and we missed it and saw a replay. You just saw it on the leaderboard, like the timing tower. Pit exit, pit exit, pit exit, pit exit. You're like, what's going on over here? Missed it. Replay was fine, but would have seen it live. Would have liked to have seen it live even. Words are important, man. At Defo Not The Stig, live shots of the Sauber pits. How does this still keep happening? Bottas had a 4-second pit stop and it looked like it was light speed in comparison to every other pit stop we've seen for this team. And it's such a shame because Valtteri was genuinely in the hunt for scoring a point this weekend. He looked quick, and you just couldn't rely on Stake to do a good pit stop. And that was really important considering the last point I just had around that 5-car battle in the pit lane. I think he came in first and came out of that last. At Kibet Clinton _ Alonso trying Carlos Sainz Singapore Masterclass. See, that this is the Fernando Alonso tactics that there is no disputing. Beautiful. He looked at Carlos Sainz and thought, yes, I will employ this. And gave Piastri the DRS in the last few laps, which stopped Russell behind Piastri getting through. Point secured. Right, it is now my favourite time in any day, in any month, in any year, in any century. It's Tommy's Tasty Tweets, sponsored by EA and F124. Tommy, who is winning the game that hasn't come out yet, but the joy of that and also your pride?
Indeed. It's Michelle, or MJ95 on Twitter, with this brilliant meme about Alpine. In 2024, I got 99 problems and I caused all of them, which is pretty savage. Pretty savage, but kind of true based on what we've seen. And boy, did they look like an F2 car during that race.
Oh, the meme's so good as well. It's so beautifully done with the little Alpine hat on it as well. So, yeah, that is brilliant stuff. Thank you, Tommy. Well done, MJ. You have won a copy of F124 when it releases. And if you want to be involved next time, hashtag P1, and you might well be selected by the legend that is Tom Bellingham. Bye, Tommy.
Bye.
Right, that is it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the funniest tweets to the Japanese Grand Prix. We've got a couple of weeks now until China. I hope you enjoyed the race as much as I did and opened your mind to Max Verstappen just being out in front. And yeah, that's great. Max, you have a great time. The midfield delivered, and when it does, I do enjoy Formula One. Hopefully you did as well. P1 Live Show is literally next week, so if you haven't got your tickets and you'd like to come along, Cambridge is sold out, but Bath and London still have a few tickets left, then please do come along and see me and Tommy. We'd love to have you there. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. Lots of love. See you soon. Bye.